Welcome to the All the Stuff podcast, where we jam about money, clutter, and food, and the real stuff under this stuff. Join me, Lisa Carpenter, your resident food coach, along with my co-hosts, money coach Jen Turrell and clutter coach Lisa Sharp, as we help you release what's weighing you down and heal your relationship with food, money, and clutter from the inside out.
Welcome to episode 0 of All the Stuff.
Woo-hoo!
My name, woohoo! Exactly. My name is Lisa Carpenter. I'm a transformational life and nutrition coach. I'm here with Jen Turrell and Lisa Sharp, and we have come together, well, really to talk about all the stuff, the things in our lives that stop us from really living our lives as fully as we can. So whether it's food, finances, all the extra stuff in your home, which is Lisa Sharp's expertise, we're going to be kind of breaking it down, bringing you different topics that are relevant to the women that we work with on a daily basis and things that are happening in our own lives in order to bring you some clarity, some inspiration, help you take action to work through your stuff, because the truth is we're never done. We always have to be looking at what we put in our bodies, what's going in and out of our bank account, and how much stuff is coming in and out of our house, whether we're holding on to it or letting it go or not wanting to let it go. So I'm going to let Jen Turrell and Lisa Sharp each introduce themselves. I'll tell you a little bit more about me at the end, and then we'll kind of wrap up this episode 0, and we'll talk about what we're going to talk about maybe on episode 1, or throw out some ideas. Sound good, ladies? Okay, Jen Turrell.
Oh, me? Okay. I thought Lisa was going next, but that's okay. I'll go next. We'll save that for the last. So I'm Jen Turrell. I like to call myself a financial feminist, and I am a financial personal trainer for women. So I help women, mainly who are working outside of the traditional 9-to-5, make sense of their money, organize it, set up systems to reach their goals. Because money, like so many other things in life, there's no one way to do it. We're not taught this as kids. We see so many different types of advice that maybe don't apply to us. So simplifying, streamlining, cutting it down, those are the kinds of things I like. And I talk to a lot of women about this kind of stuff on my Financial Fluency podcast. And I have had both Lisa Sharp and Lisa Carpenter on that podcast. And their 2 episodes were some that people went wild over. They've had tons of downloads, lots of comments. And the 3 of us are in a few groups together. The 3 of us have also worked together. And I completely love the conversations that we have. It's probably what someone in Ozzy Osbourne's house once said, someone should have a camera in here and be filming all of this. That's how I feel when I hang out with Lisa Sharp and Lisa Carpenter. Is there's so much good stuff going on in these conversations. Other people should get a chance to hear some of this. So that was part of the inspiration behind this podcast, at least for me, was like, oh my gosh, we have so much fun and such great conversations. Lisa Sharp, your turn.
Oh, I love that, Jen. That is so beautifully put. Yeah, we've been joking about that for a long time. It's like, because in our own little areas of expertise, we do things that are a little bit out of the norm. and we all kind of like it that way. So I think that's fantastic that we're doing this. So I'm Lisa Sharp. I am an empowerment coach and clutter expert. I have been under the guise of being a professional organizer for the last 3 years, but really what I do is I get into people's stuff. And by stuff, I mean how they live their lives. What are the things that are in their homes? What are the stories that their things are telling them about their lives? And basically helping people create the life that they have really been wanting to do, and letting go of the stuff in their homes that don't feel aligned with where they're going, and keep them tethered to a negative past storyline that keeps us sort of looped into the same behaviors and patterns that we really want to let go of. So we're all kind of in this same vein, I think. We all are interested in empowering women for sure, and letting, kind of all of us all of our clients, our audience, be who they are meant to be without all of the constraints that we've all been raised with. So that's really, I think, at the core of our conversations.
I absolutely agree, which is why I wanted to bring all three of us together because, so I'll tell you a little bit about me first. Like I said, I'm a transformational life and nutrition coach. My name is Lisa Carpenter, and I help women who've really been struggling with food in their bodies their entire life. They've been on and off the diet roller coaster, really put their hands back on the wheel of their lives, understand how food impacts their bodies, and I like to create their own unique system of working with nutrition so that they can achieve whatever it is they want for themselves, but ultimately find peace and freedom with food in their bodies. And what I found so interesting about all of our work is when you clear away like the stuff, which is what we're talking about, all the stuff, it's never really about the stuff. It's about the pieces of ourselves that we're unwilling to look at and dig into. But the systems are important. So whether somebody is working with Jen Turrell or Lisa Sharp or myself, there is some systems and structures that need to be put in place in order for us to be with our stuff so that we can get into the emotions underneath it. And that's what makes kind of the three of us all really unique. We don't just look at the emotional part, but we're also looking at the systems and how we can deal basically with all our stuff. So I think we're going to have a lot of really, really interesting conversations, because when women realize that the stuff isn't really the stuff, that's when things get really good. That's when things get really, really entertaining. And we have had some really phenomenal conversations about this.
I also
Amen.
the stories that go along with things. And, you know, Lisa Sharp, with your stuff, it makes the most sense because it's actual physical things. Like this may have belonged to my grandfather and it's completely falling apart, but I can't let go of it because it's like the last thing I have that he wore, this hat or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we can see the attachment to it. But when I've worked with Lisa and when we've all told stories about our ideas about finances and things, you know, we can see we have these stories that we told ourselves at some point in life. And sometimes we're not even aware of them until we say them out loud. And then realize, oh my gosh, that's what it is. Like Lisa, I know in the interview that you did with me for your group recently, I kind of told my story about actually not wanting to let go of weight and why I thought that was. And that's one of those stories that until I said it out loud, I probably would have dismissed it. And I think a lot of us have those things, and it's part of sort of digging through these layers of stuff. And the fact that we all work that way, that we like hearing people's stories and kind of getting into their past and finding out why we have these habits, these behaviors that we can't seem to change, even though we know we want to change them to get the outcome we want.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because, you know, it's funny, like there's no shortage of information out there, right? Like if anyone wants to, you know, work on their finances or their weight or their nutrition or their stuff or their clutter, whatever, it's not like we don't live in the information age. You can find all of this stuff. You don't even have to leave a room to go find out information on it. So, but none of these things aren't necessarily easy to solve. So it's not that we need to do a little bit of digging, a little bit of investigating, because if it were as simple as just read it and do it, then we'd just all be, you know, go to Pinterest, find our 5 things that we just love on Pinterest. That's so cute and so interesting and so easy, right? It's just 3 steps, right? And we just go do it, but we don't. That's not what human beings do. We really want that to be true, which is why we spend so much time on Pinterest and reading magazines and books and all of this sort of stuff. But without scratching the surface of why we're doing what we're doing, we're really just staying in the same place. And that's what all 3 of us really like to do, is scratch the surface, see what's under there.
Absolutely.
So that we can start affecting some change. And with change comes empowerment. With empowerment comes change. Those 2 things go hand in hand. And it doesn't take that much work to get there, but it's a little uncomfortable to scratch that surface. So it's just sort of a willingness to be in the room, as Lisa's always saying,
Mm-hmm.
that, you know, to just sit with whatever comes up and see what happens, because that is the crossroad. That when you can sit there with what's going on, what's the emotional tie to all of this stuff underneath, that's when you can really affect change, because it's empowering.
Absolutely. It's and recognizing, and I think this is true for all of us and all of our work, you're never done. So this is why this conversation can just go on and on and on, because you could completely declutter your house, right? You could completely revamp your nutrition. You could completely revamp your finances with Turrell, right? We all have these systems that we teach. But it's not a one and done. You don't set the systems in place and totally set it and forget it, because you do have to continue to peel back the layers of emotion that are stuck there. So like you said, Turrell, your weight, some people really have that story of they want to lose the weight, but what does the weight represent? So then that story comes to the surface, and then it's getting underneath that. Well, why is that there? And what does it mean to let go of that? What does it mean to allow yourself to be seen in the world? Because a lot of people don't want to, when it comes down to it, losing weight means they're going to be seen and noticed, and they've spent a good portion of their life trying to hide. When I've worked with Lisa Sharp on my clutter, because I've told her, and I've told both of you, so clutter and money is kind of my area where I stumble, yet I'm a rock star when it comes to food and nutrition. And clutter for me represented safety. It was like a hamster. I had to have my stuff. So letting it go made me feel unsafe. So it wasn't as simple as just getting in my closet and purging, or holding something up and saying, does this make me feel happy? Keep it or throw it away. It wasn't about that for me. There was like safety and security. And when it came to my finances, there was this belief that I wasn't smart enough. And I wasn't good with numbers, and I couldn't, I couldn't handle doing that, or I wasn't capable of organizing my finances. It just felt overwhelming. So until I kind of peeled back those layers on those stories, I wasn't even able to really get into the systems as much as I would like. So it really is a process of never being done. So we'll just keep talking forever, ladies.
Yeah, I think that sometimes that can be a real pisser when people come to that realization that that it's not done. You don't lose the weight and then you just carry on. You don't reach a certain number in your bank account and everything is fine. You don't declutter your closet, because if we were done, we'd be dead. That's the honest to God truth, right?
Yeah.
It means that we're alive. It means that we got another day on this spinning blue marble, and we've hit the lottery. So, we can kind of look at this in the, oh my God, this is never done, or there's always room for improvement. And I think there's always room for improvement. That doesn't mean I don't have days where I don't just pitch a fit and get on the ground and say, I want this to be done. But that's not the reality of the situation. And so I think just leaning back into that and just being like, okay, what am I going to learn today? What's new today? What's going to show up for me today? What am I going to learn about myself? What layer am I going to tap into today? It doesn't have to be hard. It's going to be interesting.
Well, I think these three areas too, the food, the home, and the money, they're all systems that continually have things coming in and going out. And a lot of things affect that. Like when you go on vacation, you're not at home cooking with your own fridge and your own stove anymore. That changes what you eat. And also you're spending more money each day because you're probably staying in a hotel or renting cars. And then you probably bring things home from a trip. You bring more stuff into your house. So week by week, month by month, the systems keep operating. So we keep having to make adjustments and keep cleaning things up in different ways.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good way to put it.
I agree. I absolutely agree. Never done. So I think what we'll do for this episode is in the show notes, we will put a link to all of our websites so everybody can connect with us and find out more about our work. And we're going to be doing this weekly. So every week we're going to bring a topic to the table. I think one of us will facilitate leading the topic, and we'll see where the conversation takes us. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm also very much open to questions from people who are listening, as well as topics that we can bring up and discuss. So that this is really about cultivating connection and community with the women that are listening to us, so they understand that we are in the trenches with them. I think that's so important. We have our own stuff, self-admitted, right? Leader of the monkeys here. And I would love to hear what other women want to hear about, what they want to talk about, and what they're struggling with, whether it's, the stuff in their home, how they're relating with their financial situation or their relationship with money, how they're relating to their relationship with food and their body. All those topics are on the table for us. So this should be a very rich conversation every week. I look forward to having everybody tune in. I look forward to connecting with you ladies every week so that we can jam on this. So is there anything that you guys want to say before we close out episode 0?
Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes.
Oh, nice call to action. Well done.
I learned that from my other podcast. And you'll get it every single week.
There you go. And we can put a link to Jen's fabulous podcast down in the show notes also. So you should definitely go check her out over there, where you can learn more about all things finance. And I love what you just said, Lisa Carpenter, about how this is going to be such a rich conversation. And while it's a rich conversation between the three of us, we all really welcome other viewpoints. We want to know what your questions are. We want to know what you're struggling with. And like Lisa said, we're in the trenches with you. We're all in this together. And this is really about a community of women who are here to empower one another and to lift each other up and to help solve some of the problems that we all really struggle with in our daily lives. So let's all rise together.
It's going to be good, ladies. All right. So until next time, don't forget to subscribe to iTunes. And we will be back soon.